Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back to Fat Cat Collections. And today I want to share with you guys another great product for your smart home. And when I say smart home, sometimes I'll say smart home, apartment. Today, just mainly smart home, because anytime you're going to do anything that's actually installed as far as electrical work, you do have to own the place. Unless, of course, your landlord gives you the go-ahead. Again, always check with who's in charge. That may be different for you as it than for me. What I want to share with you guys today is an installed or a wall switch that you install in place of your in place of the switch. It's already in your home. It allows you to have smart control over whatever's plugged into that circuit. So the first one I want to share with you guys today, this is by a company called Teckin. If you haven't heard of Teckin, it's a company that's been around for quite some time. Let's face it, when it comes to smart home tech, everybody and their brother makes connected devices nowadays, and there's so many. And it's such a great time because this stuff used to be extremely expensive. You know, back in the day with home automation, the old X10 protocol was some of the most affordable options for people. And I used to use X10 all the time. The problem with the X10 is that depending on your home, some of those signals may not always get to different devices. So it's always very finicky. When it comes to Wi-Fi, now the other issue is your Wi-Fi connection. So you're going to want to make sure you have a really good router, and then you're not router or access point, and you're not overloading that system. Let's face it, it's very easy to start to get upwards of 50 devices, and a lot of the residential grade access points and routers just don't really work well when you start to overload that device. Now I know they say there's a theoretical limit of 250. That's the number of IP addresses. And let me tell you, you're not, and again, I can't, I guess, overgeneralize and say that maybe your router won't perform better than mine, but based on my experience, a lot of these devices start to develop problems when it comes to getting devices upwards of 30. And it's very easy. You might be saying 30 Wi-Fi devices. I'll never have that many. But if you have a family of, even a family of 4, everybody's got a phone, everybody's got a tablet for the most part. Next thing you know, you got laptops, computers, Fire Sticks. You can very quickly, with a small family, get upwards of 50 devices. Now, I have over 100, so I upgraded to Ubiquiti's network gear. It's been great. Totally different video. Check out my other videos where I've talked about that. It's worked great. So just keep that in mind. The more devices you get, you're going to have to upgrade some of your networking gear, okay? So with that being said, this is one of Teckin's smart home switches. Now again, like I was saying, Teckin, I reviewed their plug-in modules before, or their smart sockets. They work great. Everybody and their brother makes this kind of stuff, but Teckin's been around for a while. So you're going to see a lot of brands pop up on Amazon, then go away, and you're going to see new ones. Teckin has been around for a while, so I have a little more trust in the manufacturer, also in the company, because it's a name that's been around for, I think I got my sockets about 2 years ago. Still work perfectly, no issues. So they were nice to send me 3 of their switches, which today we're just going to talk about the standard single pole basic on-off switch. This is as basic as it can get for a wall switch. You have 2.4 gigahertz compatibility when it comes to connecting to your network. Most smart home devices, unless you start getting into major brands like Google and Amazon, most of these devices only work on that 2.4 gigahertz frequency. It's very crowded, especially when you start getting neighbors around you and all that stuff. There's advantages to 2.4 and advantages to 5. Advantages to 2.4 is you're going to get better range. So, again, it's not really an issue for anything inside your house, but as you start to put maybe switches, maybe in a shed, maybe in a garage, you could potentially have cause a problem. Again, it depends on your house layout and the Wi-Fi signal strength. So, again, totally different discussion. But these are great. I use these all over the place. These are great for outdoor lights. This is a great device for something you're not going to want to dim. Now, again, keep in mind these are technically designed for switches or for light situations or lighting devices. Doesn't mean you can't use it with appliances as well. I've seen folks do a lot of crazy things. Sometimes you'll have a switch on a wall outlet. That's not really a crazy thing, but lots of homes have that where they have a switch that controls the lamps plugged into that. That might be something you have. You might want to use one of these. You can still use it on devices, but there is a limit. So let's talk about the limits of the switch. And again, I always say consult the manufacturer. If you have any real questions, they're going to be the ones to answer this. But I'm going to read you directly what's on the box. So this is the model SR41. Not that that really means anything. It does have a 12-month warranty, and there is a support email address on here. You have an input AC range of 110 to 125 volts, 50/60 hertz. Again, the wireless frequency is 2.4 gigahertz. And the output on these, what you can hook up to these, you're going to have an output of maximum 400 watts on an incandescent bulb. That's your standard old school style bulb. And then 150 maximum on any CFL and LED. So keep that in mind. Whatever you're hooking up to that might not be hooking up to the switch. That might not be an issue if you're using standard 60 watt, 40 watt equivalent bulbs like most people. But if you have maybe this on an outdoor light where you have multiple lights on that same circuit using LEDs, I know I have a few areas in my house where I'm using much higher wattage LED lights to get that maximum brightness, like in my garage. Make sure that you're hooking up light bulbs that are compatible with the maximum capacity of switch. Most people aren't really using CFLs nowadays. If you are, there's really no excuse, or incandescents, excuse me, or even CFLs. Time to upgrade, go to LED. They're fantastic. I mean, you're going to get a lot of power savings, and all these devices work great with one another. So as far as some more of the features, they are... I've reviewed a lot of this stuff over and over again, but a lot of the features are very similar. You do have 4 wires in the back. You will need a neutral wire for this to work, so if you have an older home that doesn't have that, these will not work for you. Keep that in mind as well. You have to have the white wire. Again, always consult an electrician. You have your load, you have your hot, and then of course you have your ground. Pretty straightforward. Standard square size switch. It does come with its own Teckin wall switch, although I usually throw these away. I use them just temporarily till I order another wall plate. Again, your house may have white, black, whatever your house may have. It does come with a wall plate you can temporarily use or use it permanently. I like everything to match, so keep that in mind. Very simple in design. You have a illuminated status light right here. I haven't hooked this up yet. I will hook this up later on today. This does light up, I believe, on this model. If I compare it to some of the other styles I've seen like this, I'm assuming this lights up either blue or red, letting you know whether the light's on or off. That's really useful if you're going to put this on an outside light and you can't actually see the light. So my folks, I installed one of these up there in an area where you can't see the bulbs. Theirs turns from blue to blue and red. Color is a little confusing, but and that's why it's important if you're going to retrofit your house. These little features like this you may not think about when you're buying a product. You may not, you know, I have some of these lights that don't have a status light. Most of them do, of course. Some of them just will tell you whether the light's on or off. So generally, with some of these switches that I've had, again, I will put a side note in the description after the video to let you guys know exactly what this has. One of my folks, again, the one they have, when you basically turn the light on, the light turns red. If you turn it off, it's blue. It's a little confusing because I associate red with meaning off or stop, but red, they associate that with being hot, as in like a hot circuit. So it's important that if you are using these, go with the same brand for all the switches if they have an illuminated light. This way you're not confused on whether the light's off or on. One of the ones I'm currently using downstairs that I'm going to take out and replace with this, just because it's a cleaner kind of look, does have a status light. So when the status light, it's just white. When it's off, the light is off. When it's on, you know it's on. So that's a good feature. Just keep in mind, most of these switches do have that. I do believe on this it's going to be a green. Just right off their listing, and I believe that it's going to be green when the light is on, and it's probably going to be off when the light is off. So I will definitely, again, put an update in the description on what it actually is. But that is great for me because green I associate with go, meaning, okay, it's on. Red I associate with off. So hopefully it turns red when it's off as well, because another nice thing to think about is in a dark room, it's nice to have a little bit of illumination. I have switches that always glow some sort of color, so in the dark, you can find those. If you're a really light sleeper, again, maybe a light, you know, if you're going to put this in your bedroom on a different switch, maybe you don't want a light on there. So things to think about when you're buying this stuff. Little things you may not think about right in the beginning that may become an issue depending on where you're putting this and who you are as a person. So keep that in mind. Otherwise, pretty basic, on, off. That's it. I can show you all day long what it looks like, but there's really not too much else to tell. Quality feels on par with every other switch that I reviewed. I haven't had any kind of issues. I like the fact it's it gives you a little bit of a clicking sound, but again, you know, I don't want to over embellish because it's just a wall switch, guys. I mean, it's nothing really over the top crazy. It's just, it does what it's supposed to do. You can set timers with this. It is compatible through the Smart Life app with Google Home Assistant and the Amazon Assistant. So if you have one or both, you can use your voice commands to turn the lights on or off with this particular switch. No dimming, keep that in mind. And you can schedule timers, of course. You can control your lights from inside or outside your home through the cloud and their network. So if you're outside, if you don't really use scheduling, you can basically say, oh, I want to turn my light on. I would think everybody uses scheduling, but my folks, I mean, most of the time they don't really. I like everything super well illuminated. My folks, they're turning things off when they go to bed. A lot of their neighbors do the same thing. I look out, houses are completely dark. So mine's always well lit on the outside. Again, personal preference depends on you and your situation. I like to have that layer of security, having things well lit up, well illuminated, just peace of mind for me. And I think it looks nice too. If you are looking for something that is dimmable, they do make a dimmable version, although it is different. I just want to flash this to you real quick. Completely different looking switch, so keep that in mind. If you're putting these side by side, you might want to go with a different brand because they don't match. And for me, if I have two of these switches, you have like a three box switch. You know, you might want to have one dimmable and one just on or off. They're not going to match. So I don't know why they did that, but I'll review this at a later date. I'm going to be putting this somewhere where it's not side by side to this one. There's other brands that look more similar. So that's really about it, guys. Again, you get your voice control, schedule timers, on, off, countdown, I believe, with this as well. 2.4 gigahertz. Compatible on the internet connection. Setup is really easy. Sometimes these companies are like, setup, sure, we want to see you set it up in the app. I'm not going to go through all that. It's really easy. You open up the app, you hit add, you select your device. It tells you exactly what to do. It'll connect to your switch. You'll enter your Wi-Fi credentials. It'll connect to your network. Then you name the device and you're good to go. As far as setup with Google Home or some of the smart home or the Amazon Assistant, same thing. You go to the app. You add the Smart Life app as one of your devices, and then it'll add anything you have linked to Smart Life. So if you have several of these switches, once you add it to one of those smart home assistants, you'll see all your devices. Then you can individually name them. Again, name those devices something that's distinguishable from one another. Don't have like, lamp one office, lamp 2 office. You want to kind of name a little different. Office desk, office fireplace, office floor light. You don't want to see like office floor light and then office like desk light. You want to make them a little bit different. Keep it short, keep it simple, and make it distinguishable. So again, totally different conversation. But that's about it, guys. Not really too much else to say. Price point on these is great, $17.99. Shipped to your door with free returns if you have any kind of issues. I can't imagine you would. Again, keep that power rating in mind. It's pretty similar amongst all different brands, but keep it in mind for your own situation where you're installing this and what you're installing it on. Always do things safe and correctly. And that's really about it, guys. I want to thank Teckin for the generosity in sending me these switches. I'll come back and talk about the three-way switch setup they sent me. So if you have an area where you have one outlet or one fixture with two different switches, a two-way switch we call it, or if you have a situation where you want to use a dimmer, we'll talk about that as well. I have situations, again, most of my outside lights are on standard switches because I don't dim those. I want all or nothing. When it comes to other lights, nice fixtures, stuff like that, you want to have a dimmable switch. I think is nice because then you can set the mood, so to speak, if you want. So anyway, guys, if you like the content, do subscribe to the channel. As always, if I can help you in any way, let me know. Always subscribe to the channel, but click the bell to be notified anytime I upload a new video. And as always, guys, have a wonderful day. Take care.